Hello and welcome to the Hellraiser blog. Please, if you enjoyed today's blog, hit the subscribe button. Love growing the Hellraiser boxing family, and you can follow us on YouTube. Okay, so today I'm going to do a blog on big fight coming up. Tony Bellew from Liverpool against Oleksandr Usyk. When I first heard of the fight, I've got to say I wasn't a big. It wasn't a fight where I thought, oh, definitely that's a great fight. I really want to watch it. Because, I mean, for me, they're poles apart in terms of technical ability. I mean, Oleksandr Usyk is certainly, for me, I rate him above Holyfield. Holyfield was a great warrior, would have been a great fight, him against Usyk. But that will never happen. And Bellew, for me, technically, is not on the level of Oleksandr Usyk. I started to spike interest when I started hearing people, oh, you know, I fancy Bellew. And when I run through the fight, all the different elements that can have an influence on the outcome of the fight, I can only find one area where I favour Tony Bellew. And I've got to say, it's an area I don't think will actually probably be that relevant. My interest was spiked. I heard Johnny Nelson. I saw an interview where he was saying technically Tony Bellew is better than Oleksandr Usyk. I've got to say I don't agree with that at all, not even slight. I mean, in fact, you couldn't be further. I mean, I would say technically Oleksandr Usyk is a much better fighter than Tony Bellew. The one thing I think Bellew has, well, I'm quite confident that Bellew has on Usyk is punch power. He has a much higher knockout ratio, and even the way he sets his punches. Usyk plays boxing like he's playing chess. You can see he's thinking every minute detail of everything he does. Bellew is a bit more crash bang wallop. I remember Bellew right back from the amateurs. His favourite combination was double jab right hand, and he'd throw that sometimes like 3 or 4 times in a row. But because his right hand was so powerful, he only needed to catch the opponent with one, and it became sound to use those tactics. But normally you never throw the same combination like 3 or 4 times in a row. It makes no sense. But, okay, so Bellew is an extremely effective puncher when he gets someone. He showed that. I mean, Bellew, he had problems with Makabu, who's a southpaw. He's a different kind of southpaw to Usyk. There's a lot less movement, he's more flat-footed. Makabu's very much like a puncher. He's a tricky fighter, sort of gets people to he's strange, he's short, but he doesn't throw that many punches, which encourages the opponents to come towards him. And ultimately, he finishes a lot of his fights by catching them as they're starting to come at him, and he actually catches Bellew in their fight. With a very good shot that would have put a lot of guys away. Other than that, I can't see any area. I mean, you could say maybe in terms of heart and determination, Bellew could be the equal of Usyk in that area. But everything else, speed, awkwardness, movement, I would say boxing brain even. I mean, Usyk is a genius. And this isn't to denigrate Bellew. It's just that Usyk, for me, is really special. Really special. So let's look at the fight. So you've got the main. I mean, the height is almost the same. I think Usyk is 1 inch taller, but he has 4-inch reach advantage. And Usyk is a master at using reach and getting leverage into his punches, even though he might be slighter and not quite as concussive a puncher as Bellew is. He uses his reach very effectively. He uses his jab very well. He varies his punches. His positioning, for me, I mean, his awkwardness and his actual the positioning of his feet and how he positions his upper body it's a joy to watch. And I remember when I was younger, George Foreman came to London, and he boxed a guy. I think the guy's name was like Tim Anderson or something like that, and he flattened him in a round. And I think everyone knew he was going to flatten him in a round, but George Foreman was like my hero. So I bought a ticket. It was at London Arena. Frank Warren promoted it, and I didn't care that he just walked through this guy and knocked him over with the first punch he threw, or the first proper punch he threw. because I'd seen my hero. When I heard of this fight, that's the sort of way I was looking at this. I was thinking, and that's not disrespectful to Tony Bellew. It's just that when I watch Tony Bellew, I sort of think, well, he's a good level international sort of guy. Usyk for me is, pound for pound, I'd probably go Lomachenko, Bud Crawford, Oleksandr Usyk. That's my top three. I don't have to agree or disagree, but that's how I see it. And that's why I would have been excited to see this fight. Tony Bellew wouldn't be in my top 3 or even my top 10 pound for pound. He's just a good domestic level, international level guy for me. Usyk is the cream of the cream. And when I first saw it, I thought they're just bringing him over. Tony Bellew at the end of his career, probably happy to get like an enormous payday, and that would be for him, and it sort of serves also as a way of introducing Usyk to the British fans, because Usyk's made it very clear that he wants to step up to heavyweight, where the big fights are going to be against probably, if Joshua is still the champion in a sort of year or so, against Anthony Joshua. So it would make sense for Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to do a deal with him, and get familiar with him and work with him so they can understand how to put that deal together as easily as possible. But okay, so this fight, what can Bellew do? Well, like I said, I think his only area where he's superior, and Johnny Nelson's saying that he's technically superior. I just cannot understand how anyone that knows about boxing can look at these two fighters and find Bellew superior to Usyk. And like I said, I don't want to be rude about Bellew because I've got respect for him. He's done very well. But that just, there's a point. I understand that the TV commentators and the TV channels, obviously, they want to generate interest. They don't want to say this guy is vastly superior to this one. That wouldn't be right business-wise. It wouldn't work, because who's going to buy that on pay-per-view? Presumably it's a pay-per-view fight. But okay, there are a chunk of people out there who are not big sort of in-depth boxing nuts who maybe will buy that for the start, but they'll soon realise it's garbage when they watch the fight. So we've got to see Bellew use, the one thing he's got is the punch, and I think to do that he has to take big risks here, because Usyk has got the longer reach, slightly taller, but got a 4-inch reach advantage, meaning that Bellew has to come inside, and that involves taking a lot of risks against a guy like Usyk, who's very, very well versed at hard punching people, trying to close the distance down on him. And his movement, his upper body movement, his feint. Usyk feints a lot to the body. He's a southpaw. Bellew actually struggled against Makabu, who's also a southpaw. He's a completely different kind of southpaw to what Usyk is. Makabu is more like Ilunga Makabu is like he's more squat. He sits down. He's happy to sit on the ropes and then counter and come back up. He sort of catches them by fooling them into attacking him. Whereas Usyk, his movement is so vast that he actually stops people from being able to attack him, because if the target's moving from all sorts of weird different angles and you never know where he's coming from next, it's very hard to set your feet and get the big shots, the ones you need to get the leverage into to get them off. So I sort of think Bellew basically needs to almost reverse what Usyk does to him. So Usyk throws a lot of feints with the jab to the body and jabs the body in to bring the hand down, and then he attacks over the top of the front hand. So Bellew, I think, needs to do the same as that and just hope that he gets lucky with one big shot. And if he catches Usyk, he needs to get him out that one time that he hurts him, not stand off and think, oh wow, that I didn't expect to get through with that. And I'm sure that he won't. I'm sure he'll be ready, he'll be prepared, so that the first chance that he gets him out of there, if he gets one at all, because I don't think he will. On balance of probabilities, I just think Usyk is a phenomenon. He's an amazing fighter. You've got to remember also, Adonis Stevenson, southpaw, that didn't go well, and he's more of the Usyk type southpaw than Makabu is. I just don't think all of these permutations add up particularly well or nicely for Tony Bellew. So I think he's really got his... I will watch it 100% because I want to see every fight Oleksandr Usyk ever has. I want to watch it probably 10 times. So I'll certainly watch the fight. But I just don't think, from a supporter of Bellew's point of view, I don't think we're going to see a result. So I'm actually going to go for a stoppage around round 7. I'm going to say round 7. I always like to put my finger on one result, not sit on the fence. So I'm going to say round 7 Usyk. my heart, I hope that Bellew does it, but I'd be really surprised if he does. Guys, if you enjoyed the blog, please hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you again soon with more fight analysis. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.